consequences will grow worse each day if we do not act.
So will there be a new plan? And when Republican John Campbell, congressman from California, voted for the bill, and Republican Dan Burton, congressman from Indiana, voted against the bill. Congressman Burton, let me start with you, if I may. You voted against the bill. There's outrage on both sides today, from people, citizens across this country who didn't like this bill, and I'm sure many of them emailed your office, and also those who are concerned that if you guys don't do something, it's going to get a whole lot worse.
Well, I think that we will get something resolved, and I think John was one of the people who warned, and I think with justification, that we had to do something, and we have to do it relatively quickly. But the fact of the matter is, I think the bill that we had before us the other day, or yesterday, was not the right approach. I think there's other things we should do. We should increase the FDIC limit to $250,000, which would give people security who are concerned about their money and might want to have a run on the bank. We don't want that. And I also think, there's other things we could do. I'm not sure they'll be included, like cutting the capital gains tax and so forth. But I do believe there will be a solution between now and the end of the week.
All right, Representative Campbell, did Nancy Pelosi's statement yesterday have anything to do with your decision on this vote, one way or the other?
No. I think what she said was inappropriate, and I think it was not helpful for the situation, but I certainly was a yes vote before, and I was a yes vote after. It didn't change my vote, and I haven't talked to anyone else who told me they changed their vote because of it either, but it would have been better had she sounded a more bipartisan tone, as many of the other leaders on both sides did.
But, Representative Burton, there's a lot of folks out there who think that this whole economic crisis, founded or unfounded, is getting attached to Republicans, that there is a huge, throw them out mentality that may sweep in this November. If there is inaction on this bill, a lot of folks feel, or the other extreme, Republicans standing up and stamping their feet and saying, this bill is not good for you. So if, we're sort of in the middle and we're going to pass something in a couple days, some folks might say, what took you so long?
Well, first of all, there's enough blame to go around. I don't think this is not the time to be pointing fingers. This is the time to come up with solutions. And one of the things that I suggested the other day was that Bill Isaac, who helped get us out of the S&L crisis back in the 80s, he should be considered. People like him who have expertise in this area really should be included in the dialogue. We have people from Wall Street, we have people from academia who are making these decisions or recommending things. Why not have a guy who's actually been there and done that involved?
Well, that's a good point. He might be able to make a good contribution. That brings me to my last question for Representative Campbell. A lot of people shaking their heads across this country saying, where is the leadership on this issue? You look at September 11th, you had Rudy Giuliani out in front with great leadership. Where is the leader in this story?
Well, it is a good question, because I think the difference is that the American people, at least 2 days ago, were not aware of the consequences. When 9/11, the consequences had occurred. It was visible. It was obvious to everyone. Obviously, that was war. It's different than a financial situation, but the consequences were there. At this point, or as of before yesterday, I think most of the American people were still not aware of what the negative consequences were. Yesterday, however, the American taxpayer lost $1 trillion. Now, I understand the market's gone up some today. This won't be a straight line, but this bill that we have basically has safeguards in it where it's likely to cost zero. That is a whole lot better than $1 trillion or many trillions, which is the alternative. And I think as of yesterday now, people are starting to see that. I know the calls to my office, which were overwhelmingly against the bill prior to this, are now slightly in favor now.
All right, that is interesting. Representatives Campbell and Burton, thank you very much for joining us today. You guys have a lot of work to do, and we wish you well. You're doing it. Trace?
Well, Obama trading barbs over who